Listeners, my name is Mariam Mbaka, and I welcome you to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, the station that redefines broadcasting. Yes, this is RAPA Hour, a very special program designed by the ordinary president to help women know their rights. And RAPA, yes, like everyone knows, RAPA stands for Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, and this is specifically designed to help women know their rights, both in gender, both in institutions, and any other activities that concerns gender. So I have with me two special guests which are in the studio, and we are going to talk about something very important that concerns not just the women, but concerns our society and how it's going to affect our society, how it's going to affect the civil society and the women, and how our own country, that's the president of this country, is going to contribute to the development of women in Nigeria. So before we introduce our topic, I would like to introduce our special guest here who we shall be talking together. I have Mrs. Yemisi Nathaniel, who is the RAPA Senior Executive Program and Project Coordinator. And I also have Ms. Habiba Ahmed, who is the Senior Executive Communications Officer. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you. That's Mrs. Yemisi Nathaniel. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Miriam.
And also Ms. Habiba Ahmed, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you. It's good to have you on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I hope you like the weather. I hope you like everything here. And I hope you're all comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Okay, thank you very much. So, listeners, on today's exciting edition of the program RAPA Hour, we shall be talking about beyond ratification. That's the implications of Nigerians not implementing the Maputo Protocol. Yes, one thing that comes to people's mind when they hear this is, what is Maputo Protocol, and how come we are talking about implications? We've not even known about what the Maputo Protocol is. We don't know how it concerns the Nigerian citizens. We don't know the relation between Maputo Protocol and the citizens of Nigeria, and also the federal government of Nigeria, and the implications. Please, just hold on, sit back, sit tight, don't touch that dial, because we are going to give you bit by bit. You know what the Maputo Protocol is, you know the implications, and you know everything that concerns the Maputo Protocol in relations to women and the civil society. Yes, right ahead, I'm going to start by asking Mrs. Yemisi this very important question as our listeners are hearing. Ma'am, we've talked about, talking about the ratification of not implementing this protocol. First thing that comes to most citizens' mind is, what is this protocol? So I'm using the opportunity and the voice of the people out there listening to me to ask you, ma'am, please, what is Maputo Protocol?
Thanks, Miriam. The Maputo Protocol is the African Charter on Human Rights. It's the 66th session of the African Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights on the Rights of Women in Africa. And it's called the Maputo Protocol. It came to be in 2003 during the AU meeting at Mozambique in Maputo. And that's why the name Maputo Protocol. This is a very holistic framework for upholding the rights of women and girls in Africa. One of the most, if not the most comprehensive. And the quickest for the states to ratify. As at date, 44 countries out of the 55 in Africa had ratified, with Sudan and South Sudan and one other state being the latest. We have just about, out of 55, we have 44 already ratified, meaning that we have only 11 left. The Maputo Protocol speaks to the life of women. They saw the need to have this in the African Charter as a result of the several international treaties that nations have signed on to, like the CEDAW and the likes of them, and the CSR 1325, and that brought about the Maputo Protocol, which is holistic. And in Nigeria, Nigeria ratified in 2004, which is 19 years ago. After the ratification, it is as if we went to sleep. Because when you ratify, what the law says is, we are not a dual nation. Even if you're a dual nation, it needs everyone to be on board to agree, not just the ministries, development and agencies, but also the judiciary, the legislators to be a part of it. But in Nigeria, looking at our constitution, we have in the Constitution 12, Section 1, stating that every treaties or agreements that a nation signs to will not become a law automatically until it has been domesticated. So that is why we are calling for, yes, we have been taking a portion and a session of the Maputo Protocol, just like we do of the SOAWR, to come up with laws like VAP, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition, which is already domesticated in more than 80% of the states in Nigeria. We also have the GEO law from it. However, we have not had it only on its own, and it speaks to quite a number of things which we'll get to, that affects our women out there and affects the lives of women and girls in Nigeria. I would want to stop here for the next one. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's quite an interesting one. So over to you, Ms. Habiba. Who are the champions or the advocates of the Maputo Protocol?
Right, good morning once again. So I'm just going to ride on to what Mrs. Yemisi has just given us on the Maputo Protocol. So we all know that the Maputo Protocol has been ratified in Nigeria since 2004, which is 19 years now. And we have the Solidarity for Women's Rights Advocates, SOAWR, who is like an African body who come together. It's like a group of women organization at the African level coming together to advocate for the domestication of the Maputo Protocol in each of the countries that have ratified it. So under these, we have different clusters. And in Nigeria, we have a group of women's rights organizations who have come together to ensure that we are doing just like this program now, educating the masses, informing the government, reminding the stakeholders of the thing they have signed. Because we all know how beautiful our stakeholders are. So amongst this organization, we have WRAPA, which is part of them. We have Baoba for Women's Rights. We have Alliance for Africa. We have yes, in Nigeria. We have Baoba for Africa, WRAPA,
Yes,
Equality
a
Now.
whole lot of them.
All of lot of them.
Wow.
And then we're being led by Equality Now and other organizations. So we have been doing a lot of sensitization and legislative visits to and advocacy to our different stakeholders. Like last 2 months, we went to Ministry of Women Affairs where we discussed about the implications, just like we're doing now, and reminding them, because most of them were not there in 2003 or 2004.
Exactly.
So we are informing them that Nigeria has signed and they need to domesticate. And now we are putting it down to everyone that we don't, CSOs don't have to be, or NGOs don't have to be the champions. Everybody is a champion, should be a champion for Maputo Protocol, because this is something that affects your day-to-day activity. How women are being treated or even looked upon is all spelled out in the Maputo Protocol. So that's why we do not even call ourselves champions of Maputo Protocol. We are just leading the way for every woman who is a champion of the Maputo Protocol.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Habiba. So you're trying to tell me that all the organizations that have come together for the domestication of the Maputo Protocol are organizations with the same dream, the same goal, the same aspiration?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, over to Mrs. Yemisi. A very quick question. How does this Maputo Protocol relate to the lived experiences of women?
Yes, the Maputo Protocol, we're here just to ensure that we all know how it affects us. Because the question is, how does this concern me? It concerns every woman and girls. For instance, there are so many articles in the Maputo Protocol, about 32, but at least about 20 something are specifically speaking to laws, while the others are speaking to like the end sessions. Some of them is, let me talk of one principally, on economic empowerment of women. We all know how economic situation is on women and girls nowadays. Already, due to the patriarchy system of so many years, women and girls are already disproportionate, whether in education, whether in pay packs, whether in jobs. Most of the jobs that women are into, even when you talk of the agri sector, are mainly the ones that are more like petty farming, unlike those who are able to have good farming and inputs like men. So most of these had already disproportionately affected women and the women economic empowerment, and it is the role of the state, as stated in the articles, for frameworks to be in place to enable not just women to be able to have access to credit, to also be able to own lands of their own, especially when it comes to farming. You know how it is when you rent a land. Women suffer it, widows suffer it. The moment the owner of the farm sees that, oh, you planted this year and your farm has done so well, they say they want to use the land next time. So they go and give you the one that has been overused, because you cannot own your own land, so that you can now prioritize. I'm farming on this one, I'm leaving this one the next year. So this has been issues that women face every day. Another one is that one that speaks to women autonomy and sexual reproductive health rights. We can see that even when it comes to issues of maternal mortality, Nigeria rates high among many countries in the world. I think if not the highest from the UNDP latest statistics.
Absolutely.
So when you're talking of how does it affect the women's lived experiences, women are dying as a result of unsafe abortions, which is having to do with that's Article 14. We also have several other articles that speaks to women, which I will allow my colleagues to speak from. But the most important one that we must not forget is sexual and gender-based violence, which is right at our noses, which is happening in offices, in palaces, and in villages, which most of the time is either the woman or the young boy or the young girl is dead, or the man, or that there are cases that are unattended to as a result of injustice through gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, I don't know if Ms. Habiba has something to add to what you've said.
Yeah, to also make the women understand about the Maputo Protocol. Maputo Protocol has very, like 32 sections, as Mrs. Yamisi has stated out. And one of the things, just in simple language, I want them to understand is under the sexual reproductive health right, the Maputo Protocol has stated that government is expected to provide sanitary pads as essentials for free. In every hospital, in every place you go, women are not supposed to be buying sanitary pads. That's one of the sections of the Maputo Protocol. Another thing speaks about widows, just the way we have people collecting pension. The Maputo Protocol is also speaking to widows having a sum of allowances from government because their key stakeholders or their key providers are gone. Also, another thing that the Maputo Protocol is talking about is even how women are being related in markets, because there are a lot of positions whereby they don't allow women to take up in market spaces because of our cultural values and positioning. So the Maputo Protocol has given equal opportunity for women to participate in leadership at various levels, right from chieftaincy up to national level. So women, you need to know that this Maputo Protocol is not just English, it's not just any law out there. It speaks for you, it protects you, it provides for you, and it's going to now the thing about this law, the specialty about this law is the law is telling you that it's the state. It's not now between you and another person like we have in other laws. It's between you and the state. The state provides for you. The state gives you the protection. So if the protection is not given to you, it's you and the state. So that's what the Maputo Protocol is all about.
This is very interesting. In fact, it's getting more interesting talking about the states, which means now this is a call on all our governments from the states to be able to embrace this Maputo Protocol, to put hands together to pass a bill at the National Assembly so that this Maputo Protocol will be accepted, will be legal tender, will be legal here in our country, Nigeria. When you talked about the empowerment for women, you talked about the hospital care, that's access to health care, you talked about education and the rest. Honestly speaking, it's like you touched an unmended button in my heart, because most times it's really disheartening to know that women Honestly speaking, if analysis will be made, women contribute like 50% of the Nigeria's economy, if not more. Because looking at the daily activities, you see most women are the ones that go out early in the morning. If you're going to the farm, most women are the ones that go out very early in the morning. If you want to go to work, you know that most women are the ones going out very early in the morning. You see them putting their things on the roadside. You see them going out, opening their kiosks, opening their shops, some even going to their various places of work. And the most disturbing part of it that really boils my heart is when these women are not given preference, when these women are not being supported, when these women are not being funded the right way, when the voices of these women are not being heard. So now, what brings about this? It's really something that we need to, include, make sure that we encourage, motivate the government, the present government, to really put hands together to see that women are really taken care of. Women's rights are being raised. Women's rights are being heard. Women's rights are being supported. So talking about this all together, it brings me to the question I still want to ask Mrs. Yemisi. What are your call to the government on the domestication of this Maputo Protocol? Not just government, the federal government, the state governments, the federal governments, the local governments. Yes, what are your call to them to domesticate this Maputo Protocol so that these women's voices will be heard?
Yes, I will start from the executives, because it's the executives that goes out there and sign treaties. Most of the time, the legislators are not included. And when they come back, the law says for, I think, 30 days of return, this should be placed before the legislators. Now, the question we want to ask is, has this been placed before them? And if not, then it is not, it's like we should have done that yesterday. So we're going to implore that as soon as we are looking at the domestication, that the government, actually the legislators, will look into the Maputo Protocol in its entirety and domesticate as a matter of emergencies. Because when we're talking of implications, we want to say that women are dying. We might not have the statistics per se that says, okay, in the last 10 minutes, number of women have died as a result of not domesticating Maputo Protocol. But definitely that can be gotten if you wanted to. Women are dying, girls are dying, whether it is for women economic empowerment, whether it is for widows' rights and harmful practices, whether it is for lack of access to land and credits, whether it is for not allowing women their full potential to adopt the sexual health reproductive rights. Whichever way, women are dying, girls are dying, our brothers, our sisters are dying, our mothers are dying. So we want to call on the government that they will use their good office, and as soon as this gets to their table, because if they've not seen, we cannot hold them accountable, that they will speedily look at these laws. We are ready to talk, we are ready to negotiate, but we are asking that the Maputo Protocol be domesticated in its entirety. At least we know that even if FCT does that, which is the national, other states we can now take a cue from there. But you like the VAP, it started in FCT, and now we have over 80% having domesticated. So we're asking, because this is the leader, this is the headquarter, that they would take a lead on this and domesticate the Maputo Protocol. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So talking about the implication of not implementing or domesticating the Maputo Protocol in Nigeria, tell us some of these implications that may likely happen if Nigerian government or Nigerians do not, domesticate the Maputo Protocol.
Okay, like Mrs. Yamisi has said, people are dying, and that is the most important thing for government. Your people, your masses are a responsibility upon you, and the moment their well-being and their welfare is not being catered for, then your number one responsibility as a leader fails. So one of the major implications is the death of women and girls, one. Secondly, we are in a nation where developmental growth is essential, and gender, equal, and social inclusion is what we should be talking about. It's today's business. Wherever you are, we are no longer in the era where a woman is this, a man is that. We need to be included. And then another thing we need to talk about is access to justice. when human rights are violated, who do we run to? Where do we go to when the state itself does not have our back by, passing or domesticating laws that protect us? Secondly, we're talking about gender-based violence, sexual harassment, assault. These are things that we hear even from just today's program. Break at family, every day you hear issues of assault. Day-to-day neighbor, you hear issues of domestic violence. These are things that happen between our environment. So why are we shying away from it? Why are we not speaking about it? So these are the implications. We will keep having rise of these issues if government does not effectively effectively pass the Maputo Protocol.
Yes.
Yeah, and implement, because after it, what comes next is the implementation of the protocol.
Exactly.
And then we have another thing is hardship on women's economic life, as we have all stated out. So we need to ensure that the Maputo Protocol is being passed so that women and girls will live life to their full potential. And if 50% of the society are living life to their full potential, then there is definitely going to be growth in all aspects. So that's what I'm going to speak on.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ab. Okay.
Thank you, Habiba. I also want to say that Nigerian government in 2004 was one of the first that that ratified, which is a plus, and we say kudos, but we had to take the next step, which is to domesticate. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. We take another question, which is we've talked about the call to governments to domesticate the Maputo Protocol. How about the civil society as well as Nigerian women? What are your calls for them to domesticate or to be part of the domestication of the Maputo Protocol, since the women, in quotes, the Nigerian women are mostly involved? And just like I've explained earlier, Nigerian women, contribute like 60%, if not more, on the country's economy. And when it comes to giving them their rights, when it comes to supporting them, when it comes to encouraging them, that is very poor. As far as they are contributing immensely to the development of this country, their rights they should also be protected and they should also be supported. So what are the calls of these women and the civil society to ensure that they also advocate for the domestication of the Maputo Protocol? Yes. Okay.
Yes. We want to call on Nigerian women, the women's rights organizations, the civil society organizations, the CBOs, the community-based organizations, to let's work together as a team. Like there's a coalition already called MAP, which is holding this program, which is civil society organizations that are supporting and advocating for the domestication of the Maputo Protocol. That's the program we are holding now under WRAPA Nigeria. And we're calling on more, because the more the merrier. Gone are the days when you go solo. We needed to come together to ensure that this Maputo Protocol in its entirety, like we said, it was one of them, if not the best, and had, received the fastest ratification. Now let's take the next step and begin to domesticate. And also, talking about women, look at the last election. How many women do we have in the assembly now?
Exactly.
These are issues of leadership that has been spoken to precisely on the Maputo Protocol. So we cannot leave it even to the civil society organization alone. Every professional associations, every organizations, everywhere where women group, we needed to give this a credence and join hands together so that we can see to the domestication of the Maputo Protocol to improve the lives of our women and girls.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So one final question is, what are the next steps to be put in place to ensure that the domestication of Maputo Protocol happens in Nigeria? Yes, that's from Ms. Habiba.
Okay, the first step we need to take is, like Mrs. Yemisi has said, first of all is to come together as a coalition, and be it as a professional body or as an individual. If you are listening to us, you already be part of the next steps. You as an individual, what role are you supposed to play to ensure that you continue to talk about the Maputo Protocol? Because awareness is essential. If you know about it, then, and you know how it concerns you, then you push for your legislators to domesticate the law. That is one. Secondly, is for CSOs to continue to sensitize and create awareness around the Maputo Protocol. We have started as a coalition, but then we are calling on more people to join the campaign. So if you're listening to us now, you can go to your social media and then hashtag Maputo Protocol and start talking about it so that people are more informed. Then thirdly is legislative advocacy and trainings. So as CSOs, as professional bodies, we come together, especially our lawyers, judiciary, to break down the Maputo Protocol. What does it mean? What does it entail? What are the essentials of it so other people to understand?
In fact, especially to women and at the grassroots.
Exactly.
Yes, it's very important.
Exactly. So, create stickers, flyers around, put it in simple terms for a widow who is passing to understand what is Maputo Protocol to her. So when you place it out there and then they break it down, we go to the National Assembly, start advocating for the domestication of this law so that it will start ringing the bells. Then fourthly, if we have a joint voice together as Nigerians and the situation, or sorry, the bill or the protocol is at the National Assembly, then the legislators know that this is the matter of the people are aware of it, the people want it, this is what the people want, then definitely the domestication of the Maputo Protocol will come to life, and the implementation of this protocol to protect women and girls. And when we talk about women and girls, this is one last call to everyone there. When we talk about women and girls, it's not to say that the men are not important, but we understand that the more the issue affects women and girls, the more pressure it is for the men. So if you are in the society and then women and girls are not, living their life to their full potential, the burden comes back to you as a man. If you promote laws that support her, that promote her, that bring her out the best in her, then as a society we would enjoy and exist with each other much more better. And even the cases of violence will reduce because you see her as an essential part of the society, as an essential part of you, and you understand that it's her problem, but it affects you. Just the way when fuel subsidy arises, and we know that men are the benefactors, it affects women. So also when women go into business and the business is not thriving because she's a woman, it affects the man. So it's both ways. So we're not speaking to just women, we're speaking to everybody. Maputo Protocol is for everyone. It's for everyone, and everyone needs to be involved in the next step. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms.
And lastly,
okay,
we would want to bring in also our leaders of faith and culture and other men allies to be a part of this, because we cannot do it alone. In spite of the simplification, the translation in local languages, we need our men to support us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. In fact, I wanted to even say that we are forgetting the men, because I wanted more emphasis should be on the men, because we want the men to really come out and support the women. Don't forget, you have mothers, you have sisters, you have wives at home, so you need to support the women. That is a very, very big call to our men out there who are listening to us. Please come out and support for the advocacy of the Maputo Protocol to be domesticated in Nigeria, so that women's rights is going to be protected. Women are going to be supported in every sphere of the government. When it comes to education, women will be supported. When it comes to healthcare services, women will be supported. When it comes to agriculture, empowerment, women will be supported. And it's very important because women hold a larger share in this country, Nigeria. It's just that little preference is given to women. But I bet you, if women are given that opportunity, honestly speaking, this is one thing that Nigeria is going to really appreciate, the giant of Africa, being that the country will be moving, the country will be growing, a lot of things will change. So I think we should give it a try. We should take a bold step in domesticating Maputo Protocol in Nigeria. Yes, listeners, this has been the WRAPA Hour on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM with me, Mariam Umbaka, and my two guests, Mrs. Yamisi Nathaniel, who is the WRAPA Senior Executive Programs and Project Coordinator, and Ms. Habiba Ahmed, who is the Senior Executive Communication Officer. Thank you very much, ma'ams, for joining this beautiful program. And okay, let's take one more from Ms. Habiba. Yes, it's quite interesting. Please let's take one more before we call it a day.
Oh, you don't mind me. I just want to tell our listeners that they can continue to reach us at on our social media at WRAPA NG, on Twitter, WRAPA NG, on Instagram, at WRAPA Nigeria, on Facebook. Also, you can reach us on www.rapanigeria.org. Our phone numbers are on our social media pages, and you can reach us at any time. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, Miss Habiba, a lot of people are working. I'm sure, as you said this now, so many people would, stand up to get their pens. Some will be rushing to unlock their phones. So I want you to take it so slowly so that they can get the social media handles. And if possible, if there are some you are suspecting they will not be able to spell it, so you could help them spell the wrapper, you understand, so that they can get it. Please, let's take that again.
All right, you can reach us on social media. Let me start with Twitter. On Twitter, you can get us at WRAPNG, Rapper NG. On Twitter, also on Instagram, WRAPANG, Rapper NG. Also, if you go to Facebook, that same rapper, WRAPA, then you add Nigeria to it. We are the only rapper out there. So the moment
And the website?
Yes, the website is www. The same rapper, WRAPANG, rapanigeria.org.
Okay.
So that's our website.
All right. Thank you very much, listeners. Thank you very much for joining us on the program Rapper Hour. Do join us same time, same station next week. My name is Maria Mubaka once more, and have a beautiful day. Thank you.